Yeah, because they have to do that. Our people don't.
Have talent, business, service, or product, and you want to advertise it on Hip Hop News Uncensored and get it in front of millions of people, email us right now at advertise@hiphopun.com. That's advertise@hiphopun.com. Do not wait. Man, so WNBA star Brittney Griner was sentenced today by a Russian court to about 9.5 years in prison. Now, a little bit of just the backstory is she was, I don't know if she was traveling for a basketball game at the time, but she was trying to go through Russia's TSA, and they found a little weed cartridge. They tested it, it had THC in it, and, she got caught up. She's been in there for about going on 7 months right now. Wasn't surprising when we heard that it was 9 years. I wasn't that surprised because I understand what Russia is, but they kind of got us ready for it because they was like she might get 10. So they kind of, I guess lessened the sentence and gave her 9.5 years.
That's a sound, man.
But what's your thoughts though on it, man? Because a lot of people are outraged. I'm gonna play this video in a minute with Boosie being outraged. What's your thoughts on it, real quick?
You feel bad because as people that we smoke marijuana, and obviously we know how the laws have gotten very lenient, extremely lenient out here in America, and how unfair the laws are out here, right? So when we hear 9 years for marijuana, obviously we feel like that's absolutely ridiculous. And when you think about a weed pen, it makes it even more ridiculous. But we're not in mucking Russia.
Right, yeah.
We're not under Russia rule. We've never lived under Russian dictatorship or whatever you want to call it out there, whatever it is. You got to abide by their rules. It's unfortunate. I don't want to see it. But hopefully people take it as a learning lesson because this shit could happen if you think you're going to get away with doing little slick shit that you do in America in these different foreign countries. I don't see her as a political prisoner. I don't. I know people may get upset about that.
Right.
I don't think this is a situation where this black woman got railroaded because, like I said to a couple people in the comment section, if this was Oprah Winfrey's black ass, do you think she'd be sitting here dealing with this right now? I doubt it. Money, power, rule the world, and she just kind of is a casualty of this situation.
I don't think Oprah would have put herself in a situation.
Well, that's a fact.
Of being caught. But like you said, man, I'm gonna play what Boosie said because he's pretty outraged over it. Not only are you in another country, but you're in a country that's at odds with the U.S. right now. You're in a country where the U.S. is pulling out all its major brands, Apple, McDonald's, Nike, all these different places. Brands are now pulling out. They're putting sanctions on Russia. They're trying to cripple Russia's economy. And you think they're going to show mercy to a silly lady who made a silly mistake? Like you said, when you're crossing state lines, but especially when you cross country lines, you got to know the rules. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You can't say, well, I ain't know. Nah, this is the law. You got caught with it. You got caught with it. Over here in America, we sit over here and we're like, okay, it's messed up. She shouldn't have got that. In America, you might get out the same day. You might get a slap on the wrist. In some places, you pay a fine. Some places, it's legal. Not in Russia. Russia, they can do whatever the hell they want. But let's play what Boosie said. And the back end, we'll talk about this.
How the hell this girl get 9 years for a weed pen? And the USA ain't doing nothing about it. You tell me that. If that was Taylor Swift, it'll be a peace treaty right now. It'll be a slight, they'll be drafting to go to war for a weed pen. 9 years. What that show for black women in the United States and the vice president as a black woman, you supposed to be on the front line. You supposed to be on the front line to get that black woman out of jail. 9 damn years.
Boosie's real passionate. I never seen him this passionate.
Fuck with him
about something like that. Yeah, it's real talk at the end of the day. But this woman's Kamala Harris have a black woman. When did she ever do anything to benefit black people for one?
On the flip side,
right?
She put bills in and laws in while she was out there to put harsh punishment on black men doing exactly what the fuck Brittney Griner is doing 9 years in jail in Russia for right here in this country. So,
and then you got like Boosie. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like we got the black white dynamic. It's real.
Fair.
But at the end of the day, dog, like, whose platform are you on every day telling your story for $1?
Ruh-roh.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, are you really that outraged, over something like this? Or is it just, selective outrage? And I get it. You know what I mean? It's wrong. But it's not in the United States of America. And the U.S. can't do shit about it. And they can't do they got to negotiate. Mm-hmm. They can't go to other countries like they did and just invade them, and do whatever they're going to do to the women and the children and bomb people. They can't do that to Russia. It's a little bit different ball game because, they popping back. So the U.S. has pretty much got their hands tied. They in there like, yo, we can exchange this for this. It ain't just going there and give it back or else with Russia. It just ain't.
Let's not act like we sit back and have the most greatest laws and the fairest laws in the world. There's so many brothers and sisters, but more so brothers sitting in jail right now for selling 2 or 3 grams to a brother in high school, got him on distribution, and he's sitting in jail right now because he sold drugs at a 17-year-old and his life is ruined right now, or he's sitting on probation, can't get a job or dealing with a bunch of nonsense, can't live a real normal civilian life because of what happened to him.
Hell of a point.
But now we worried about what's going on in Russia, dealing with their law, saying that if this was, I don't know about that. I don't know. And then since when do we go to Russia and tell them what? There's certain places we don't walk into and tell them what to do.
Right.
China, Japan, Korea, Russia,
or Cuba. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the shit sucks. Nobody would want to sit in this situation. But she felt like at that time, in my opinion, when after seeing everything, she felt like because of her celebrity status as a probably prominent basketball player, not only in America but out there, thought she could get away with a little something, and it busted her over the head. And now she's paying a severe price for it.
It's and that's the heck of a point that you brought up about even the laws here. It's people that got railroaded here in this country. Yep. For having, remember the crack cocaine law and the powder crack law, which your man, I don't know, a lot of y'all put in there, Biden and Clinton, that whole thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They was all behind that, and then Kamala Harris throwing the brothers and, her record. So it's like the people that you asking to do something don't really care, bro. Nope. You got to understand the system that you're in, and not only what system you're in, but how it works. Mm-hmm. If you don't understand that, everything else is going to confuse you. And Boosie is clearly confused, but I understand his outrage and his passion. I agree with him, but you got to understand what type of game that you're in. Like, screaming and hollering ain't going to get you nothing in this type of game. It just ain't.
And I think all that shit that we see being projected by America, that they are negotiating and they have this arms dealer or this assassin out in Germany. I've heard all kind of shit. I think that's all political rhetoric and propaganda. And now they're using this woman as a political ploy because now it's not only Brittney Griner, but it's this other man that's being held against. And now it's just this whole political thing. I don't think a goddamn thing's going to be done. Do I think she's going to do 9 years? I don't know. I don't know how Russia works with getting out early and all that. I'm not sure what Russia rule. But I know they made an example out of her, and I don't think America cares as much as they appear to.
If I was at war with a country, right, whether it ain't got to be physical, economic war like they at with Russia, and I got one of their people, I'm railroading them too.
Yep.
I'm not going to show them no mercy. You ain't showing me no mercy. You know what I mean? When you now taking the other side, and I'm not saying I agree with either side. I'm just saying like you take the other side, you know what I'm saying? You fund them, and you expect me to take one of your POWs, as they call it, prisoners of war. You know what I mean? And treat them humanely. The U.S. ain't do it back in the day where they caught people's prisoners of war. Yep. They ain't treat them humane. They did whatever the hell they wanted to do with them, off with his damn head. So, again, I think that people understand. A lot of people do understand that. Trump was one of the guys who kind of was vocal about it and pretty much said, you make the bed, you kind of lay in it, for lack of a better word. But what do you see the outcome of this being? Like, how long do you think she's going to stay in there? Do you think there's going to actually be a deal made for them to, trade off to get her out of Russia?
No time soon. She's going to do a lot of that time, in my opinion. And I don't want her to. Let me please say that.
Right.
I don't want that woman to sit back. I'd rather her be home, you know what I mean? If I had it up to me, be home, slap on the wrist, do what you got to do. But we know how this world works. And we're in a fucked up way of living right now, particularly with this country. I think she's going to sit down for a while. I don't think that America really has the intent on giving up an arms dealer, a dude that internationally sells guns to enemies, and I just don't. That's not an even trade to me. And if that's what they're asking for, and then I heard that they were asking for an assassin out in Germany. Now you asking for Germany to get involved for Brittney Griner?
A basketball player.
I just don't see it. And Brittney Griner means a lot to a lot of people, so I'm not trying to devalue who she is. But let's just talk for real. We ain't playing checkers here. We playing fucking chess. A world chess. And I don't see, in the world scheme of things, that piece being as important as the pieces America has. I just don't.
Woo! People ain't gonna like that.
It's the fucking truth, man. And it's the truth, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully, praying for her, praying for her family. I'm sorry that her wife is going through that, because I'm just like, if our loved ones,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, was going
wife,
through that. You got the most powerful organization behind you.
Yeah.
And they can't even do anything. Y'all ass gonna have to sit down for a while, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Don't want to see it, but well, okay. Let me ask you that on the flip side before we get out of here. Cap it off. How long do you see her doing? What is the ending outcome in your eyes?
I kind of don't. I think they're gonna make something happen eventually. I don't know when.
Right.
I think they're gonna try to, just because it depends on the public outrage. I think, or again, you dealing with Russia, so nothing may not happen if they don't agree to it. The U.S. is not gonna go get her.
No.
You know what I mean? So
Not a
just
war.
like they gotta bring her over here, or take her to the border or whatever, and release her. U.S. ain't going on there to get her, so it's just like whatever Russia has the upper hand in this, whatever they want. Maybe they want to get somebody back and say, he was a good worker for us. All right, she's a basketball player. We'll just give her back. Let's give our spy back, or give our weapons arm dealer back to us, or whatever the case may be. They make this feel, like that, or they make an example and make her do all of those 9 years there. It go either way.
Unless they prove that vape pen was smuggled into her bag, in turn setting her up to be a political prisoner of war, I don't think it's fair to call her a prisoner of war. No one came and ran in her room and took her against her will. Nobody stopped her car on the way to the airport. She was on her way out of there and made a mistake, man.
So it's a story out there that somebody planted that on? I didn't hear that.
I think it was her legal team. They were
okay.
saying that they did not know that was there, so then they ran with the narrative that someone planted it on her.
I wonder if her legal team was Russian. It probably have to be Russian, right?
Right.
I don't know how that works.
And if that's her legal team, we know how that works. Like, so.
Well, yeah, because now you say that, because I was listening to one of these guys and they said it was pretty much almost a foregone conclusion. Like the trial was just like a formality to the ultimate like punishment. Like we're gonna just do this for the media, do this for the world, but you're fucking guilty.
Yep.
Already.
We won't give you 10. We'll be nice and give you 9.
Damn.
The prosecution was looking for 9.5. Damn them 6 months.
Oh man,
it's terrible, man. It's terrible.
it's rough, man.
Yeah, you don't want to see it, but it's like I ain't about to do that shit.
Nah. It's the world we live in, man.
It's the world we live in.